When Briar revealed back in episode 119 that in order for Pagogo to reach its full power, Liko and friends need all 18 Tera types and that the Pokemon providing them had to be on the same level as the heroes, I concluded that we were either getting another hero searching arc like we saw at the start of Horizons, where they will have to find the 12 new heroes, meaning legendary, mythical, etc. Pokemon, or similarly ancient, gigantic, one-of-a-kind Pokemon, or that Liko and friends would rely on their Pokemon instead. Fast forward to the special preview that aired after episode 125, and it became pretty clear that the latter is what will happen. It became apparent that the solution is to count on and believe in themselves, their Pokemon, and the friends they've made along the way. This last part wasn't part of my original hypothesis. Then the ending of episode 126 basically confirmed this outright. What they needed was already close at hand all along, setting the stage for episode 127. We already knew from the special preview that we were getting some major battles. Liko versus Anne, Dot versus Penny, and presumably Roy versus Nemona. The special preview didn't explicitly show that Roy would face Nemona, but given their established rival dynamics and the other two matchups, it was pretty obvious that this would be the case. However, the special preview left a lot of questions unanswered. We saw Armarouge battling Samurott, Quaxwell battling Vaporeon, and Pawmot battling someone. But we didn't know whether these would be 1v1, 2v2, or even 3v3 battles, whether all of them would happen in a single episode, or how much focus each matchup would actually get. Nor did we know who Pawmot would face, aka what Pokemon Roy was going to use. This is why in my special preview video, I intentionally didn't speculate too much about such details, because I figured that the preview for episode 127 would clarify these things, and it absolutely did. These battles will all happen in one episode, and they will be one-on-one. Armarouge versus Samurott, Quaxwell versus Vaporeon. Roy will indeed face Nemona, and he will use Lucario. Which is honestly perfect since it and Pawmot have battled twice already. Lucario won the first time and Pawmot won the second time, so this will be their tiebreaker. But this preview doesn't only confirm or reveal things we already knew or suspected. It also revealed something the special preview did not show: the fact that Ult is also battling. I didn't even consider this, and even if I did, I wouldn't have been able to predict who he was going to battle, since unlike Liko, Roy, and Dot, he doesn't have an Anne, Nemona, or Penny, a close friend and rival. Well, it turns out that he will battle none other than Hassel, which is genuinely unexpected. Never would have seen this one coming, given that Ult has no prior connection to or history with Hassel, because he wasn't around when Liko, Roy, and Dot took their Terrestrial course. So this matchup clearly wasn't chosen because of rivalry and friendship. Instead, it was likely chosen purely because of Dragonite. If Ult wants to truly push himself and the Dragonite forward, if he wants to bond with it further, there's no better challenge than facing a Dragon-type specialist who also has a pseudo-legendary dragon. Another thing the special preview strongly hinted at was the setting of these battles. The distinct clinical green colored walls and battlefield immediately made me think of the Elite Four rooms in Scarlet and Violet. So I suspected that Liko, Roy, and Dot weren't going to battle Anne, Nemona, and Penny just anywhere. Instead, they will face them at the Pokémon League in a way that mirrors challenging the Elite Four themselves. Well, it turns out that I was right, and when you factor in that Hassel, an actual Elite Four member, is also participating, it really does feel like we are getting a parallel of or stand-in for the actual Elite Four, with Anne and Penny effectively being promoted, while Nemona is essentially demoted to the Elite Four. Narratively, this makes a lot of sense because in every generation, the Elite Four represent the absolute pinnacle of Pokemon battling below the champion. If Liko and friends truly need to be on the same level as the heroes, then putting them through Elite Four style battles is a clear way to communicate visually and thematically that this is the level they have to reach. These battles aren't just casual sparring or friendly matches. They are meant to push everyone to their absolute limits and serve as a final benchmark for the final confrontation with the explorers. I also said in my special preview discussion that these battles might be a way to test whether Anne, Nemona, Penny, and their Pokemon are strong enough to contribute Tera types, and that they could also be a way for Liko, Roy, and Dot to further improve themselves and make sure they are strong enough to stand alongside the heroes as well. It's clear now that both are true. That said, there is one thing that makes this a bit strange. If these battles are meant to test who is worthy of contributing Tera types, then why won't Liko and Roy use their starters? Dot is using Quaxwell, which makes sense, but Liko will use Armarouge and Roy will use Lucario. In my video on the special preview, I even excluded Armarouge, Lucario, and Vaporeon from the list of Pokemon that might contribute Tera types. So why exactly will they be the ones tested in these battles? Moreover, Ult doesn't even have access to Terastal, at least not yet, so if he cannot contribute a Tera type, why is he being tested in this way at all? Sure, Pagogo could allow his Pokemon to still Terastalize, but surely they aren't relying on that, right? The most reasonable explanation is that beyond just gathering Tera types, Liko and friends also need to be genuinely strong enough to face whatever the explorers throw at them. So even if these battles aren't directly about selecting Tera type contributors, they still function as high-level training and character growth, pushing everyone to evolve as battlers before the final conflict. Now, as always, when it comes to battles, we must answer the age-old question: who will win? Well, starting with Liko versus Anne, on paper, Anne should have the advantage. Her Samurott is far more experienced than Armarouge. It has surely trained and battled a lot more, and it also has the type advantage. Anne will even Terastalize it, and Samurott's Tera type appears to be ground based on the special preview, meaning Armarouge will still be at a disadvantage. This naturally makes you question Liko's choice. If she wants to win, why wouldn't she use Meowscarada, her ace, which also has the type advantage, over Samurott? The only reason that really makes sense is narrative payoff. During the Blueberry Academy arc, we repeatedly saw Charcadet training with Samurott, so this battle feels like the culmination of said training. Armarouge finally getting to battle Samurott for real. So this isn't a mistake on Liko's part, it's the story taking precedence over logic. Regardless, I would honestly be surprised if Liko actually manages to win. Moving on to Roy versus Nemona, I think Roy is going to win. The last time they battled, Roy lost, and the time before that, Roy won. So this really is a tiebreaker. It would feel odd for Roy to lose twice in a row, especially after everything he's accomplished recently. He lost to Drayton but then defeated him in their rematch, and he even defeated Freed. On top of that, while Pawmot has the type advantage over Lucario, Roy can Mega Evolve Lucario, which, like I've said before, is stronger than Terastal. This gives Roy the advantage, especially since Mega Lucario already defeated Pawmot, even with Terastal. As for Dot versus Penny, I fully expect Dot to win. The last time they battled, Penny completely defeated her and it wasn't even close. So this feels like the perfect opportunity for Dot to get her redemption. She's grown a lot since then, both as a trainer and as a person. Defeating Penny here would be a powerful way to show that progress. Now, unlike the previous two battles where typing might be a huge determining factor, this will be a battle of water types, so no type advantage or disadvantage. And since water types resist water, some of their strongest attacks won't hit as hard as usual. So typing cannot really tell us who could win this one. Now, when I saw that Dot will battle Penny again, and that it would be a battle of water types, I couldn't help but wonder if this might finally be the moment when Quaxwell evolves. He's the only one of the starters that hasn't reached his final form yet, and I just can't imagine that Dot will be the only one without a fully evolved starter. So it feels inevitable that Quaxwell will evolve at some point, and doing it before the final confrontation would make sense so that everyone is at maximum power. Moreover, right now, literally every other Pokemon Liko, Roy, and Dot own is fully evolved except Quaxwell. Tinkaton even went through 2 evolutions in the time it took Quaxwell to evolve only once. So it really does feel long overdue. That said, this also doesn't feel like the most natural place for such a big evolution moment. These battles, while framed like Elite Four challenges, don't actually have high stakes attached to them. They're not tournament battles. Nobody is being eliminated and nothing is truly on the line beyond the training and the testing strength. You'd normally expect a starter's final evolution to happen in a more emotionally focused episode centered specifically on the Pokemon that will evolve and their trainer, not in an episode where we will be juggling 4 different battles, 8 different trainers, and 8 different Pokemon. So I'm not confidently predicting that it will happen here, but I do think it's a real possibility. Skeledirge, after all, evolved during what was essentially just a training battle, so Horizons clearly isn't opposed to evolving starters in moments that aren't life or death. Plus, why will Dot use her starter when Liko and Roy won't use theirs? Sure, them not using their starters makes sense narratively, but I cannot help but feel that it's almost as if it's time for Quaxwell to shine. If Quaxwell does evolve here, then Dot is almost guaranteed to win. Finally, we have Ult versus Hassel. Honestly, this one feels pretty straightforward to me. I fully expect Hassel to win. He's an Elite Four member, so he should be stronger than Ult, especially since we haven't seen Ult achieve anything comparable to what Roy has done. He defeated Nemona, a champion, and later Drayton, an Elite Four member. Ult, meanwhile, was completely destroyed by Lacy, another Elite Four member. This alone suggests that he isn't even close to this level yet. On top of this, Dragonite will be at a massive type disadvantage. Baxcalibur is not only a dragon type, but also an ice type. So Hassel has the advantage even before we factor in experience, skill, and strategy. Now yes, Ult could Mega Evolve Dragonite, which would definitely help him. But Baxcalibur can Mega Evolve too, provided Hassel has the means. Given that we are in the age of Mega Evolution and Legend CA, I wouldn't be shocked if Hassel suddenly goes, "Surprise, I have Mega Evolution too." Even if this doesn't happen, Hassel can still terrestrialize Baxcalibur. So as much as it would be great to see Ult finally get a huge meaningful win, I just don't see it happening here. So to recap, I think the winners will be Anne, Roy, Dot, and Hassel. This actually works out really well. 2 wins for Liko's side, and 2 wins for the Paldea side. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if Liko somehow pulls off an upset against Anne, and I also wouldn't be stunned if the writers finally let Ult score a major victory just to elevate his character and prove that he has improved. Now again, there's no championship on the line, no elimination, no if you lose you're out, and these definitely aren't battles for survival or between good and evil where good must triumph. The real purpose here is for everyone to push themselves, gauge their strength, and determine who might be able to contribute to Tera types. So win or lose, everyone will walk away stronger and better. But yeah, these should be exciting battles. After all, main character versus rival and the main character versus Elite Four member tended to be among the most intense and emotionally charged battles the Pokemon anime can serve up. My only concern, as is tradition by now, is the animation and the choreography. This series has been very inconsistent with battle quality as of late. So if these battles get the care and budget they deserve, they could be genuinely incredible. But if corners are cut, then they will probably be just fine. Still entertaining, mostly because of the matchups alone, but not nearly as epic as they could be. The fact that we got artwork for each battle and matchup does give me hope, since clearly they want to hype them up because they will be epic. So fingers crossed that these battles will live up to their potential. Of course, we will only know if they do when the episode airs on February 13. Once it does, I will of course review it eventually, so please stay tuned for that. Also, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you excited for this episode, and who will win each battle? If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, feel free to click the links on screen. And if you'd like to support the channel and help me keep making content like this, you can find all the ways to do so in the description and in the pinned comment. Whether it's through a small donation or just watching and sharing, every bit of support means the world to me. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.